Hi, this is Susanna from the Planning Assessment Commission, and today I will be interviewing Tamara Valor from the Frasers property. The developer is doing Central Park development on Broadway in Chippendale.
Hello Susanna. I would like to start by stating that our company was not the first to own and apply for development approval for the site. It was originally an old brewery, which was owned by Cart United Brewery, which was a wholly owned subsidiary of Frasers Australia Limited. Frasers began seeking approval for rezoning and a site-specific LEP and DCP when the Minister for Planning intervened under Part 3A of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act and declared the site state significant. They eventually gained consent to develop the site. There was a lot of community objection to the development, as Frasers was not inclusive of the community's objections, concerns or ideas. As a result of this, legal action in the Land and Environment Court was taken against Frasers and the Minister by the local community. The Council contributed to the funding of this action, as they were also unhappy with the approval given. However, the action was unsuccessful. No official reason has been given, but it is of our belief that because of all the negative public attention and possibly lack of funds, Frasers eventually sold the site. So we purchased the site on the 29th of June 2007. We were unable to continue with their approval as it had lapsed, and we had to resubmit our own application. The concept plan we submitted to the Minister was to achieve a large mixed-use sustainable development consisting of residential, commercial and retail premises, while incorporating a large main park and public areas throughout the site in the heart of the city.
So there were a lot of modifications throughout the approval process. What did you apply for and what was actually approved?
Yes, Susanna, there was a total of 7 modifications throughout the process, some of which were minor and others that were more significant. Some of the changes that were made were: the height of blocks 1 and 4A was revised and broken up into 3 main buildings connected by linking bridges. The floor space was also reduced. These changes improved the solar access to the surrounding properties. We widened and increased in height the pedestrian and visual linkages to improve the visual and pedestrian connectivity. Block 2 was changed from a commercial use to a residential with retail on the lower levels. The ceiling heights were reduced and we gained 2 extra levels. We got additional residential floor space in Block 5B and increased the height. We increased the height of Block 9, but this wasn't for additional GFA but rather to improve the residential amenities. We reconfigured Block 11 to include a break in the building to allow solar access. As a result, we were able to increase the floor space. After all the modifications, we were able to increase the GFA. We got the increase based on the changes we made and the public facilities we included in our development. With the residential parking, we included a residential parking allotment schedule, which gave ownership to the body corporate of the blocks, so that the parking could be leased to the corresponding residents to decrease the amount of people with cars. The commercial parking is subject to a car park management system, meaning that their car parks are only being used in business hours and then out of business hours by patrons coming to the restaurants.
There were a lot of changes, that's for sure. We were very happy with your willingness to comply and ability to change, so as a result you benefited as well. It should be noted that another reason you achieved the higher density was because you changed the ratio of commercial to residential from 70-30 to 50-50.
Yes, that is correct. We also complied with all the voluntary planning agreements, which were the 6,500 square metre public park and smaller public areas throughout. A Section 94 contribution of $2.5 million for a community centre and a $32 million contribution to the Redfern Waterloo Authority for affordable housing. We also had to incorporate sustainable elements into the development, so we included solar panels and a heliostat with mirrors to reflect the natural sunlight from the tracking mirrors, so that the units in the tallest building get natural sunlight. Having this allowed us to build higher as overshadowing was no longer an issue. There is a black water treatment plant in the basement of Block 5. This increased the deep soil planting in the main park. We also included a tri-generation energy plant on site which runs on natural gas and supplies energy to the site and the surrounding buildings. There is a lot of green vegetation over the development and also vertical garden panels on the exterior walls. To help fund all of these extra features, we entered into an environmental upgrade agreement. We also had to take into consideration the 31 heritage items on site, and we preserved and restored the items as it was a condition of the development.
The local community was very happy with the way that you have conducted the development, as you were very inclusive of the community throughout the process. You held community information nights, which informed them of the process and any changes, and gave them an opportunity to bring up any concerns, objections, or ideas, and made changes to accommodate the valid concerns. Overall, this has been a very successful green development. We are very pleased with the way that you have handled this development by involving the community. reserving the heritage items, entering into the VPAs requested, and for making a very green, sustainable development. It seems that you have learned from the mistakes of the previous developer. Thank you for coming in tomorrow.